The deep Mediterranean has preserved its sharks, but on the surface, can sharks be seen on the surface in daytime? From their lookout 30 meters above the water, swordfish fishermen watch the Strait of Messina for the slightest sign of a fish to harpoon. It's them that hold the secret, and it's them I'm going to ask. From time to time, we see some hammerhead sharks and blue sharks, but it's rare. Here in this sea, it's hard to see sharks. There are some, but it's rare. If sharks have become rare in the Strait of Messina, perhaps there are greater numbers close to the coasts of France. We're accompanying Fred Larrey and Thomas Roger, two nature photographers who are observing marine fauna off Toulon. We're here on a submarine mountain that comes up to 250 meters below the surface, and it's a very favorable place for life because the current rises above this submarine mountain, enriching the waters of the surface, and there's a lot of life which develops here. In this place, the sharks come to prowl, and Thomas and Fred, who are regular visitors, have seen blue sharks, which we hope to see. But they're so rare and suspicious that we're going to attract them to the surface as the fishermen do, with sardines. Fine fat sardines, which are one of the favorite meals of the blue shark.
What will happen is that quickly the fat will spread out on the surface, where you can see a zone of calm water. It'll make a trail of hundreds of meters, and the longer we wait, the more chance there is that a shark will pick up the scent.
Well, let's start. Come on.
Okay.
The strong scent of the sardines is carried far by the current. It diffuses down to deep water. In this blue space where we only see an immense void, the shark perceives the clouds of scents and tastes that interweave. The shark scents these fragrances, even the most diluted, and chooses the one that promises a good meal. Then it tracks the scent trail back to its source. Eager to find the prey it has scented, the shark doesn't worry about our presence. Its greed has led it to bite a hook which has left a nasty souvenir at the side of its mouth. The Bleu is very curious, and nothing escapes its notice. He has a close look at the shiny lenses of Fred and René's cameras. Its eye misses nothing. It follows our slightest movement. Unlike its cousin of the deeps, the blue shark is one of the most modern. It appeared very recently, a few million years ago, and rapidly populated all the oceans until it became one of the most abundant predators. What a swim. Ah, the blue shark, that's agility. It's magnificent agility, magnificent. The reflections, everything. but it's surviving. There's a hook there, a hook, a survivor that must have been fished quite recently because the wound's not old. There you are, that's fishing.
Thanks, because that's how Mediterranean sharks are. 2.5 meters is really spectacular. To be able to see, it's a fine adult. It moves like a reptile.
I don't completely share my companion's enthusiasm. Certainly the shark was a fine one, but very alone. Even though the blue shark is one of the most prolific, net fishing, trawling, big game fishing have won against this lord of the sea. On all the coasts of France, Italy and Spain, sharks have been decimated. But on the high seas, what's it like on the high seas? We're heading south for the open ocean. Denis Audi, with whom I shared so many adventures with Commander Cousteau, will guide our expedition. When the sea is calm, you can see the fins of sharks on the surface. But today, instead of a fin, it's a whale spout. We've got a group of whales, 4 or 5, it's hard to say, and one whale by itself, and these whales that I'm trying to keep in sight are converging on it. Razorbacks are the fastest whales. They can swim faster than 30 kilometers an hour. To be able to film them, it's essential not to scare them. You have to move away from the group and get in the water very far from them. You need to let the whales approach you. They decide, always. "20 meters long and weighing 50 tons, the razorback is the titan of the Mediterranean. One of the planet's giants, the biggest whale after the blue whale. And when, for a few seconds, the whale turns towards you and gives you a look, that changes your life forever. It's an enormous feeling of happiness. No need to go to the end of the world, for the whales are there in peace, well protected in the sanctuary created by France, Italy, and Monaco. The sanctuary helps other cetaceans who often come to play at the prow of the boats. White and blue dolphins are the most lively and the most numerous. There are nearly 35,000 enchanting the water of the open sea. As for the pilot whales that hunt squid in the deeps, they have also found peace here since the banning of surface nets in the sanctuary. Grampus, bottlenose dolphins and sperm whales are the other lords of the Mediterranean beside the razorbacks. For 15 years, Denis and his team have watched the whales. They count the number of gestating females to estimate the health of the population. but not so simple, for to recognize each one, they must rely upon a photographic catalogue meticulously created by the team over the years. Oh yes, nice. Well then, I've just taken some photos of the right side of this razorback, which has a quite clear white mark that we call a chevron, and which allows us to identify each of these individuals. In this way, Denny and his team have counted up to an estimated 500 to 700 individuals in the Pelagos sanctuary, and probably around 2,000 in the Western Mediterranean. 2,000 whales. That gives you an idea of the richness of the Mediterranean. Here is the kingdom. The whales amaze us, but the sharks aren't here. The high seas shelter unsuspected life, surprising, unusual. The sunfish rises from the depths to feed on the surface each spring. Sea devils, cousins of the tropical manta rays, search the immensity for prey. Surprisingly, even the stingrays that usually live on the bottom come to feed on plankton beneath the skin of the sea. In this liquid kingdom with no points of reference, large animals sometimes offer refuge to the smallest ones. In this way, these pilot fish accompany the sea turtle on its voyage to the heart of the Blue Desert. Here, even a wooden pallet can be a shelter. On the high sea, there's no place to hide, nowhere to stay. And young wreckfish come and hide under floating wreckage like this. Even more paradoxically, the wreckfish can come and shelter under the swimmer that's watching the fish. When it has grown, it will leave its upside-down raft and seek a lair in the marine depths. Barrelfish also only spend their youth at the surface and go to live at depths below 500 meters when they become adult. In all the oceans, pilot fish announce the presence of sharks. But here in the Mediterranean, they have nothing else to protect them but this floating tree.